Greetings adventurers, and welcome to the Loot Goblin Marketplace. Vox Machina is a great show and has inspired a lot of new people to give D&D a try. Players may fall in love with the show's world building and fantastic party dynamics, and try to recreate that in their games. But it can be an issue if a player expects an exact recreation of their new favorite show and feels like your homebrew world and fellow party members' backstories fall flat. It is important to remember that every player has their own reason for playing D&D, and that sometimes what works for your party is very different from what works in an animated series. Not to mention the bard that flirts with everyone is a bit awkward when it's your stepmom, but I'm getting ahead of myself. What? Today's treasure goes by the name I've invited my stepmom to play with us. This may have been a mistake. Let's jump right into it. So, I'm a 36-year-old dude. My dad has been a pretty good dad to me, but he was quite a terrible husband to my mom, and a few years back they got divorced. Mom's happy, dad's happy, divorce was amicable, all is well. That's great to hear. Well, about a year after my divorce, my dad started dating Alice, fake name. Alice is 39, they got married 2 years ago. Alright, let me do some quick math. 39, 36, okay, moving on. Me and Alice actually get along super well. She's into a lot of stuff I'm into, and even the stuff she's not into, she's at least aware of. My dad marrying her actually improved my relationship with him and my siblings, since her being around makes me and my wife visit a lot more often. And since she loves hosting and is overall a lot of fun, we actually think she's a great addition to the family. At some point it turns out, Alice got really into The Legend of Vox Machina, the Critical Role animated series, in case there is literally anyone on this sub that is not familiar with it, basically a retelling of their actual play series. When she told me that, I made a series of mistakes which resulted in the most awkward few months of my life. I have a group of friends, we played the Exandria campaign. We started out 5th edition, but when the whole Wizards of the Coast OGL fiasco happened, we transferred to Pathfinder 2nd edition, but we kept the setting and the plot unchanged. I'm personally not that into Critical Role and haven't actually watched Legends of Vox Machina, but my group is great, and the DM is a wonderful storyteller and makes the best NPCs. When Alice told me that she really enjoyed Vox Machina, I got really excited and told her about the campaign, and she got really excited. She never actually played tabletop role-playing games before, but was excited to try, and was a self-proclaimed theater kid, so RPing wouldn't be an issue. I obviously, and at one point to my great regret, got excited too. I love Alice, Alice is great, my group is great, this could only mean good things. I ran this by my group, the Dungeon Master and 4 players, and they all were pretty cool with having her, though some jokes were made about my hot stepmom. They hadn't met her yet, so I accepted this as good-natured ribs. Honestly, that's to be expected. I taught her the basics of Pathfinder 2nd edition and gave her a rundown of the campaign thus far, and helped her create her character. It was a swashbuckler loosely inspired by Jack Sparrow and Scanlan. She was incredibly excited, and I was too, so excited that I failed to see the literal parade of red flags spelling, "Oh no, this character concept was." Like sure, what I got from her backstory kept referring to all the people she seduced and all the hearts she's broke, but that was just flavor, right? Right? Wrong. She shows up in session 1 and was her usual self. She's fun, she's charming, and her introduction is great. We're in a bit of a bind with a boss fight, and her character shows up basically to save our asses. She still needs a bit of help, but OMG, she's a magnificent RPer, her attacks and feints are all super descriptive, she's receptive to critique, she knows enough of the rules to keep combat flowing, it's great. And the character's goofy and charming, and she does some silly accent which everyone loves, and is very vulgar, like a pirate should be. By session's end, everyone is fawning over her, and I'm group MVP for bringing her. This is par for the course. Hell, I love this woman to bits, I'm not at all surprised by this. We all leave feeling great. Then the next session rolls around and shit starts hitting the fan. Aw, come on, it was fun while it lasted. See, we're all playing on a physical table, but we have a group Discord, and our DM uses a tablet to show NPC art, and some NPC in town is very hot. Alice begins flirting with the NPC, and I think it's just, you know, she's playing a charming character, she's being charming, except it keeps getting more serious and worse. Now my entire party is deeply invested in Alice's character's love life. Entire sessions are wasted on her going on dates with this NPC and buying clothes in preparation for said dates, and helping him resolve some side quests the DM clearly wrote purely to have the NPC get more screen time. I am in hell by this point, and I've spent like 3 sessions listening to my stepmom flirting with my DM. I wish the ground would swallow me whole. I totally understand, man. The stepmom jokes are not gonna stop. When we finally leave town and reach the next one, I think things might finally turn around, but no, she remains incredibly flirty, made no commitment to that guy. I'm still sitting here listening to her flirt with this guy, DM, though now he's doing a different accent. I regret inviting her. I want to die, and the party is loving it. I don't know if it's because she was the only woman at the table and they were mostly single guys, and her character flirted with their PCs too, but her presence just shifted the entire campaign in a way that made it super awkward. But it got worse. Yeah, no, I can totally see where this is coming from. So many stories have romance make the table awkward, and this is your stepmother. I don't even know how I'd feel in a situation like this. It almost feels like, you know, if you invited your girlfriend or your sister and they were super into the other people at the table, even if it's in character, it's awkward. And knowing most of these horror stories, it usually goes out of character too, which I'm horrified to read on. Please stay lighthearted. We have a campfire talk, and her character opened up about some trauma in her backstory, and my character, a cleric of the Raven Queen, talks to her about loss, mourning, accepting death, and all that good stuff, since I'm playing him as insightful. And Alice, bless her heart, is acting her heart out. She looks me in the eye, there's tears forming in her eyes, she's having a character moment, an important one, but me? I am suddenly sick to my stomach because I realize what she's doing. She's flirting with my character. Yikes. I am now sitting here looking my stepmom in the eye, and I am having to play out a scene of romantic tension with her. And this isn't just flirting, mind you. I see the plot hook she's dangling. She talks about how surface level her connections with other people always are, but how she seeks something deep, yada yada. I see what this is foreshadowing for. She wants to ship our characters, and it's the worst. Alright, come on, man. No level of RP is worth this. Where is this going? Because remember, the other members of my group are strangers to her, so there was still some reservation. But with me, we're friends, we're family. She lets herself go all out. She put a hand on my knee. She looks me in the eye. Wait a minute. Let me check that tag again. It says lighthearted. Alright, I'm not planning on making this an 18+ channel anytime soon, so they better stay that way. For a moment, I worry that she's going to literally go for a kiss. She didn't, thank God. Phew, that was a close one, guys. I thought I just had to age restrict this video. Everyone thinks the scene is spectacular and the session ends on a high note. Not for me. I am deeply uncomfortable. Yeah, that's an understatement. I've now spent half an hour awkwardly flirting with my stepmom. This is gross. This is possibly the most awkward I've been in my life. The only bright side is that this was the breaking point for me and things got better afterwards. Alice drives me home, and on the way she notices I'm kind of off, so she asks me what's up, and I tell her. She is now the reddest I've ever seen, and she's super apologetic. She's covering her face and she won't look at me. She explains that she just thought this was what playing tabletop RPGs was, since this is what they did on the show, and the flirting and the dating were all kind of just part of it, like theater, and she's so sorry for making me uncomfortable. I'll make it clear, she wasn't being aggressive or overly sexual or anything, it was just a very uncomfortable situation for me. I apologize for maybe not making things clear and not stopping the scene when I felt it was inappropriate, and we decided to talk it out with the group over Discord and explain the situation. We do so the next day and everyone's pretty cool about it. They're pretty chill dudes overall. Oh, they're gonna give you shit though, for sure. We establish Alice and her character are no longer to flirt with me and maybe turn down the flirting overall, and she does. Things improve a lot after that, and she's still playing with us to this day. Alice is genuinely a wonderful person and I love her, but she's also my stepmother, and for those horrible awkward 30 minutes she was trying to flirt with me, and I will never let her live this down. And thankfully we can laugh about it now. Like sometimes she'll ask for salt and I'll go, do you need salt or do you need a real deep connection? And that was honestly like an immediate turnaround. There are so many stories on RPG Horror Stories where someone's like, hey, this person watched a Let's Play by Critical Role or another channel and they're acting it out in game and they're awful. They won't take any criticism. They want it done exactly like the show. This is not one of those cases. And when it comes to romance horror stories, there's so many times where it crosses the barrier between it being in-game interest and then out-of-game interest. And when I saw Stepmom in the title, I'm like, please no, please no. But that lighthearted tag, it sold me on reading the story. It was scary there for a little bit, but it turned around in the end. And I'm just glad to hear that a new player was able to integrate into a group, quickly correct whatever issues they were having. And the story doesn't end where someone said, yeah, that's my last session, I'm never playing again. So always happy to see that. And I hope you guys like this more silly horror story, as I'm trying to find more of those on the channel. And if you liked it, make sure to share the video, subscribe to the channel. Thanks for stopping by. I hope to see you in the next video, and farewell for now.